Here's something most buyers moving to Novi, Michigan don't realize. The cost of the house is just the beginning. There are many layers to pay attention to. There's especially one that many real estate professionals do not yet understand, even though the law has been on the books here in Michigan for 32 years. Hi, my name is Nate Stahl, and with 14 years of experience here in the Novi premium real estate market, I enjoy working with buyers just like you who have lots of questions about what it means to live in Novi here in 2026. What are the actual costs? From housing, to groceries, to education, to fun and entertainment. In this video, I'd like to break that down and bring some understanding to what the actual costs are here in the Detroit suburb of Novi, Michigan. What are those costs in this year of 2026? So let's get started. Let's start with the cost of the house itself. Working in the premium market here in Novi, in the $500,000 range and above, the cost of the mortgage, the property taxes, the insurance, those all go into understanding probably the largest part of the cost of living in Novi. And there's one item specifically, the Michigan property tax pop-up, that many real estate professionals do not yet understand. This pop-up tax has been on the books for the past 32 years. When an owner lives in their house, or even an investor owns a house, the taxable value stays pretty consistent. It can increase at the rate of inflation or 5%, whichever is less. And so that means that the market value and the assessed value continue to rise during that time of ownership. So if a property owner has owned a house for decades, maybe even going back that full 32 years, when a new buyer buys the house, there's a pop-up tax. The new buyer is taxed at the current assessed value of that home. And so when you're looking at your budgetary item of your mortgage payment, which would be your interest, your principal, and then your insurance and your taxes, that tax figure can be a couple $100 to even $1,000 more per month, even thousands of dollars more per month than the current property owner. So when I work with a buyer, we go through and we work on calculating that. And if you like spreadsheets, I can even provide one to you that calculates for you what that new property tax amount would be. And so that's an important figure to understand, that there's lots going on when making sure that you have your layers of what your monthly housing costs will look like. Next, let's look at just utilities. Here in Michigan, we have 4 beautiful seasons. We have the warm, even sometimes hot summer months. We have the gorgeous fall of the changing of colors. We can have some harsh winters at times. And then we have that fluctuating spring, getting cold and then warm and then hot and then back cold again. So what does that mean for utilities? With electrical, you can be somewhere from $150 to $300, $350 a month, depending on the square footage of your house and the overall lifestyle that you choose to live, from internet costs and running different extra heaters or maybe a couple extra air conditioners, depending on how you like the temperature in your home. Which leads me to the temperature. So outside, when it's cold in the winter, you have that heat running. Here in Michigan, most heat is natural gas. There's some electric supplemental heat, but most houses have a forced air natural gas furnace. And so as we look at houses, as I take my years of experience of flipping homes, 150 plus homes over the last 16 years, and then at the time I grew up as a young boy, started working for my dad even at the age of 7 in his construction company. I've learned a lot about how to look at a house and see its efficiencies. How well is it insulated? Is the furnace an older furnace, a newer furnace? Is it what they call an 80%, a 95% efficiency? And so we can look at those things and understand pretty quickly, are you going to be looking at higher utility costs or lower utility costs, especially in that heating bill? So in those winter months, you could easily be between $300 or even over $400 a month just on the natural gas alone for keeping your house at the temperature that feels comfortable. So it's definitely something to pay attention to. And now let's look at everyday expenses of living in Novi. Wouldn't be that much different than living in somewhere else, but Novi actually offers some unique things that other premium markets may not. Here in Novi, we have a quite diverse community, and so when you're looking for your groceries, you can find all kinds of dietary options. We have some of the national chains, and then we have some unique grocery shops from some Japanese stores to some Indian grocery stores. And there's plenty of options as you have your personal preference for your groceries. If your family's like mine, we chose to do quite a bit of organic shopping, and we like that we can actually have a lot of things delivered. It doesn't necessarily increase the costs, but when we look at the family of 6 that we are, it's not long before we're hitting that $2,000 a month just in groceries alone. So something definitely to think about on those everyday expenses. Another is transportation. So Novi is settled here right around some of the major freeways, I-96, I-275. It's quite easy to get around town, but most of that is by car. Maybe some bicycles, maybe some walking, depending on where you live compared to the different amenities. So gasoline is definitely a cost. And so you have to think about that, especially with the higher gas prices we've been having here in 2026. And so as you look at that, as you're traveling around town, taking advantage of some of the entertainment and fun and other shopping that we'll talk about here briefly, that you may want to combine some of your trips and do more than one thing per trip so you can help reduce that cost of transportation. So let's talk about entertainment and some fun. There's lots of things going on here in Novi. There's the Fountain Walk over by 12 Mile Crossing. We have one of the top theater chains, Imagine Theater, where you have lots of options for seeing movies, and while you're there, you can check out some food from Korean barbecue to American cuisine at the Ford Garage. Lots of other opportunities for entertainment there, family entertainment. There's go-karts, there's putt-putt or miniature golf, it's known as. There's some axe throwing opportunities if you like to do some things on ice. There's curling. You might have seen some of that in the Olympics. I haven't tried it yet, but it's something I've always wanted to try. So we're going to be doing that here soon, hopefully. So as you go through the month, you might even want to budget between $500 to $700 for some of the entertainment and fun options that are here in the Novi market. Education is a big key here in Novi. Many families relocate or locate or move here to Novi because of Novi's top school district throughout the whole state of Michigan. It's the top, if not always the top, here in the state. And so education comes with a lot of extracurricular activities, which many of them carry their own expenses, from the robotics club to extra training for different sports to band. Lots of options in the education field. So definitely budgeted maybe a few $100s per child per year, maybe even a little more, as you work on taking advantage of all the education that the Novi School District has to offer. So what does it actually cost here in Novi to live on a monthly basis? There's housing alone, as I mentioned earlier, between the mortgage, insurance, and that pop-up tax you have to be aware of. It can be anywhere from $4,500 to $6,000 a month there. You add in the utilities, $500, $600 a month in those winter months, less in those summer seasons, maybe even just a couple hundred in the summer seasons. And then education, fun, transportation. Add that all together and you'll see your full budgetary number that you would need and what it's like cost-wise living here in Novi in 2026. Again, my name is Nathan Stahl. I'm here once a week, maybe twice, talking about what's happening in Novi, the Novi market, the real estate market. Love for you to come back and hear more. At any point you'd like to have a one-on-one conversation, you'll find my contact information in the description below. And I look forward to catching you on the next one.